Libya's rebel parliaments will sign a UN-sponsored agreement next week on forming a national unity government. That's according to delegates who held talks in Tunisia's capital. The deal will be signed in Morocco on the 16th of December. However, it is not clear if they speak for their colleagues back in Libya. Parliaments in both Tripoli and Tobruk have previously rejected the UN deal, and on Friday, hundreds of protesters gathered in Tripoli's main square calling for a rejection. The development comes ahead of talks due in Rome on Sunday, co-chaired by US Secretary of State John Kerry and his Italian counterpart Paolo Gentiloni. Let's get more from our correspondent Yusuf Geji. He joins us live now from Tunis. Yusuf, let's begin with this peace deal. How hopeful are negotiators that it will indeed be signed next week?
Well, we believe here that the negotiators are definitely more hopeful than they were before. Over the last month, there were big problems signing a deal between different parties. The UN Special Envoy to Libya was tarnished with allegations of siding with different parties, and there was no deal. This week it seems very different. Martin Kobler was very positive. He said that there is always hope to achieve peace in Libya, and after 2 days talks with different political parties, he came out very positive, and they say that the agreement will be signed on the 16th. However, there are definitely still a lot of areas still unclear on how they are going to be tackled between the different parties and by the negotiators themselves.
Are there still points that aren't agreed on, and are all parties in Libya involved in this deal?
Well, there are definitely several parties who are not present in the talks, and there are definitely several important figures in the Libyan political scene who we do not know how they will be involved in these talks or in these peace agreements. For instance, the General Haftar, who's a main political and military figure in the east of the country, he is now leading thousands of troops in the city of Benghazi and staging a war there against ISIS, and we do not know how he will be involved himself in these talks. There are definitely a lot of parties involved in Libya. There is first the General National Council, which is based in Tripoli, and there is the Council of Deputies, which is the elected parliament of Libya that is based in Tobruk. And here we don't have everybody represented in Tunis in these talks, but according to the negotiators, there is a minimum and there is enough from the Libyan political spectrum to sign this deal.
And there have been protests against the UN-backed agreement. What are some of the issues Libyans don't agree with?
Well, there are definitely a lot of points which remain unclear in how they are going to be tackled and dealt with. This is only the beginning of the roadmap towards peace, and now the different parties are signing on the main guidelines to head towards an agreement. But one of the most important points is choosing a unity government that is independent and that will be able to lead the country and the government towards the next stage or the next milestone. What that milestone will be is also a big question, whether it will be an election or it will be actually some sort of military and security beef up for the country, which remains in many parts of it there is no law and there is no order and there is no government presence. So there are a lot of these elements that need to be clarified. What will happen to the militias and different troops who have weapons and are in the country and are without any government control right now? These are the big questions that remain to be answered as we move forward in this roadmap.
All right, Yusuf Geji, live in Tunis, many thanks.